Hello everyone, this is Rick with AmazingAccuracy.com and today is June 28th, 2022. It is currently 2 o'clock p.m. Chicago time. Alright, well we want to take a look at the weekly chart of the Australian dollar you see before you here. You can see I've got a couple of trend lines kind of laying out a general area of resistance support. Just kind of gives me clues as to where we are in the scheme of things. So right here you can see this top in weekly Australian dollar. It made a weekly swing top. This actually corresponds with the seasonal tendency of the Australian dollar weekly. And so that was a really good clue that, hey, we're in alignment right now with the seasonal tendency for this market, because the following was the 617 low you see here. Not quite a swing bottom because no prices have gone above a previous bar's high at this time. And so we have a possible swing bottom here, which would meet the swing bottom low seasonal tendency for this market. But at this time, it is no more than a potential pause bottom because of this inside bar week we had last week. And being a pause bottom basically means, yeah, it's a bottom. It tried to rally up, never did go high enough to confirm it as a swing bottom, and then continues down. So you would end up with this little valley here, and then the final valley for actual swing bottom confirmed. But it doesn't really matter to us. If you'll notice the red diamond here, that means we were expecting, and we are expecting, a swing turn in this time frame. And so whether it be this price bar here or this price bar representing this week ending 7-1, I really don't care, because the general area right here, I'm just expecting some kind of swing bottom. Now I say bottom because, again, I'm going strictly off the seasonal tendency for this market. For example, I'll just plop in this FDates app here. You can see this. It has various analyses, however you like to say it. And I've just got the main one open here. There's other things like recent cycles, algorithms, cycle expansions, and so forth. But I have this thing showing here. It shows me the seasonal, see, it says annual cycle swings. So the seasonal tendency, the force is strong with this one for week ending 6-3. And you can see the blue referring to that's historically it'd be strong for a top. And sure enough, it did not disappoint this year. And then you can see we have two seasonal bottoms here. 617, which is that bottom right there so far, which led into the next following week's mini rally, you might say. Now we're in the July 4th weekend week here, although it has nothing to do with, of course, the Australian dollar being a U.S. holiday and all, but it is the Aussie U.S. dollar, so who knows, right? But anyway, if anything, it just could be this little micro, mini, tiny little week here, and then we could see it start to move up. And why would I say could see it move up? You see I have 722 here as a potential target. Why? Well, for two reasons. One is that happens to be the next weekly turn date based on FDates. And it also happens to be, if you see right there, a seasonal top expected for around this period. Now there are two indications around this time period, 715, 729, but the seasonal falls right in the middle. So hey, you're dealing with plus or minus. I like it right there in the middle. That's what I'm going for, since everything else seems to be panning out. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Okay, so that's why I am expecting this. Now I'm going to bring up my seasonal tendency for the Aussie built into this application that all of our members have access to. And it has a built-in seasonal data report. And this one is different than the FDates program. This is the FDates program that I write my weekly reports with for the membership. But this here, and you'll see that it has, okay, we see 617, we see 617 here. Okay, it has this red. It says, it leans on the bearish side historically. Okay, and then it kind of leans to the bullish side going outwards into the future. We see 722 being listed here as well. No surprise. And then we see that the strength of the bull bias, I'll call it bull bias, BB, right? 8.5. All right. So interesting enough, 8.5 is also a following seasonal tendency for the Australian dollar, following a seasonal top for July, the week of July 22. So there you go. We would be looking at 722 historically top and 8.5 historically bottom. So let me put an 8.5 over here, just so this reminds me of a top. This reminds me of a bottom because this is up here. I'll put this down here. And this is so when I come back a few weeks from now, I'm not going to be like, what's that there for? Because I will know, just because I have the habit of doing things like this. All right, so that's my expectation for the Australian dollar, is that following this week, which is week ending July 1st, I'm expecting the Australian dollar to take on some kind of a weekly bullish run here. And considering how close it is to the downward resistive line here, this is one of those declining wedges, which we often see that breakouts happen to the upside of these declining patterns, excuse them all. So that's what I'd be looking at. I'm heavily leaning to a rally in weekly prices. Now on the daily, of course, you're going to see it go up, down, up, down, up, down, whatever. But overall weekly, I like the bullish side of the Australian dollar as we go in towards July 22nd here. And then a little whatever after that to go to an 8.5. Now, you saw from the one that it was heavily bearish bias historically, and the other one, it marked the beginning of a bearish period. So if you know anything about seasonals, the dates such as 722 and 8.5, the dates are something you want to take strong note of, but the orientation, whether it will be a top or a bottom, nobody knows for sure, because that's in the future, right? Nobody knows the future 100% accurately, but what you can do is you can figure probability. That's all that we can do, and that's all I do, is I figure the probability. The probability is high for week 722 to make a topping, a swing top of some sort, which means I would expect prices to be rising towards the week of July 22nd. However, if the world did something weird, another war, like we didn't have enough wars as it is, or whatever, droughts or whatever, things that happen in the world all the time that kind of tips things upside down. And if prices were instead dropping, and then week of July 22nd came up, I wouldn't dismiss the week of July 22nd and go, oh, well, we were expecting a top and instead we're prices are moving lower. No, I would be looking at, whoa, we may be getting a bottom for this period, because the probability of a weekly turn is always high if you're utilizing tools such as I use, which have proven for many years to be highly accurate. Not 100%, but highly accurate. And the FDates program and the seasonal tendencies and all these things that I use and have been using for, wow, 40 years now, since the 80s. Wow, I'm so old. Huh. Anyway, have been so reliable that the probability of the turns are high, irregardless of the expectation of the orientation, that whether it's going to be a top or bottom. But with that said, and to make this video end and the pain end of having to listen to my voice another second longer, the probability though seasonally is high to look for the Australian dollar to overall be higher come week ending July 22nd. Well, hey, thanks for watching this semi-short video. I really appreciate it. Go visit my website at amazingaccuracy.com. You can get information about my membership, but what is also available is my book, Market Forecasting Secrets, which has been available since 2010. And it's just as valid today as it was when I wrote it then and for decades prior to then. So anyway, check it out, and thanks for watching. Bye.